What up, gang? Patty B here, and today we're going to talk about our lesson number 3, and it's just hip assessment and why restriction occurs at the hip. So let's talk about why we should do an assessment prior to a training session, or just a bit more an awareness cueing. Number 1, if you're not assessing, you're guessing. So if we are aware of if our hips are tight from our previous workout, we understand what we can and can't do in our training session. And we're just going to be drills. Number 1, if your workout is considered a bit more squatting or deadlift, let's do for a hinge and squat. So I'm going to be in that position, standing up, and then we're just going to push our hips to the wall behind us and then come back. And throughout a full hip extension here, let's flex our hip all the way to 90 degree and come back up. Good. Now let's do a squat also, just to see, do we have the range of motion? Should we do more mobility work prior to our workout? So here, let's not go in details of our squat. Let's just go down as low as we can and come back up. Good. In the squat or the hinge, try to understand, is your hip shifting? Are you putting more strength or force on one side than the other? Let's try to cue ourselves to that. Number 2, it's going to be Thomas test. Usually we do that with our feet laying off the table, but let's just do it on our back and just bring our knee all the way up to our 180 degrees of flexion. Now it's very important, do we feel that our opposite knee is bending? Yes, no, maybe? If yes, that means our hip flexors are a bit more tight, quads a bit tighter, so we've got to probably pass a bit more time doing some soft tissue work there. Some soft tissue work and mobility work will be provided in the next following session and episodes. The next one, as athletes, we are often required to jump, turn, twist, throw, or sprint, run, jog, walk to different intensity. So now let's just check our internal and external rotation of our hip. So heels down, and then we're just gonna bring our knees, our right knee in, our left knee out. We have full range of motion there. And on the other side, very important. So our ischium, our sit bone that makes our hip stay on the floor the whole time. We don't want to over rotate our hip. We just want to see, do we have the full range of motion available there? Yes, no, maybe. Let's be aware of that. Do we have tightness somewhere? Let's just try to cue ourselves. Do we feel good doing this or no? Next one, it's my favorite one. We should do prior. It's our CARS. CARS stands for Controlled Articulation Rotation. So, if you're not as stable, if you don't have that much stability, use a wall, and then we're just gonna lift our knee as high as we can, abduct, internally rotate our hip, extend, and adduct. Good? Now, I'm gonna do that same motion in reverse now. So we're gonna abduct our hip, externally rotate, adduct our hip, and then bring it back to neutral position. So try that out, and then you can complicate that drill with just being without a point of stability. So you could do it just on a single leg, going through those ranges of motion. Good, and then good. That's going to create a good awareness of is our hip able to move throughout those ranges of motion? And remember, hips don't lie.